All right, everybody. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here, and of course, I'm joined as always with both of my co-hosts, Darian Smith and Jimmy Marion. This episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast is brought to you by Cahaba Brewing Company. We're probably going to spotlight this week and the rest of the month that blonde that I just showed on the screen on YouTube. Shout out to YouTube at Blazer Pod. Give us a follow or subscribe. But thank you again to Cahaba. They are having tons of events in the next coming up months. So check out cahababrewing.com to see all of what they have going on. It's in the tap room. And if you go by the tap room, make sure you let them know that you heard about Cahaba on the Blazer Victory podcast. But thank you so much for Cahaba sponsoring this podcast. And basketball season, unfortunately, has come to an end with the UAB's loss in the quarterfinals at the NIT to UC Irvine, 81-77. Guys, I don't know if this episode is primarily going to be focused on recapping the season as a whole, the 24-13 season, and kind of what's next on the horizon for this basketball program. But the guys fought hard in that UC Irvine game, took the Anteaters to overtime. Unfortunately, just came up short. There were opportunities. But again, 24 wins on the season, 13 losses, a lot of opportunities to improve that record throughout this past season. Unfortunately, fell short, especially in the non-conference for this year's team. But hey, 20 plus wins again. Andy Kennedy postseason wins again for Andy Kennedy. Jimmy, do you want to start us off just kind of talking about in broader terms about this 2024-2025 UAB basketball season?
Yeah, absolutely. First thing I'll say is it always seems to go by really quick. So it seems as if the season just started yesterday. I can vividly remember sitting here in the same living room and watching UAB play against Western Kentucky in that scrimmage. Like that seems like just yesterday, and I was taking notes, and Tyron Moore hit a couple of threes, and I'm like, oh, check this out. And that was a game in which UAB had won, and just having that real enthusiasm about the season. And this is a year in which UAB started out with some recognition, some votes for the top 25, and UAB was coming off. We all know the story, the conference championship and the 4 out of the 5 starters from that game, and a lot of optimism. And when I think about the kind of season as a whole, you got to break it down a little bit because it wasn't long after that Western Kentucky game in which we opened up against Vermont and we had the loss to Vermont. And at the time it was like, well, Vermont's a respectable program. And, like we dropped to Bradley last year and Bradley was good, but then Vermont, fast forwarding, had a really down season for them. And so that became somewhat of a disappointing loss. And, not to go through every game here, but for me, the non-conference was similar to the year prior in which we just had those hiccups. The Paradise Jam, I'm sure, was an absolutely awesome destination and a fun trip, but was a disaster, for the UAB basketball non-conference slate. Losses to a Longwood team, an Illinois State team that I think played in the CBI.
I think they won the CBI.
Yeah, won the CBI. So, I mean, there's something, if you will. But just the team was really, you had the Middle Tennessee loss at home coming back from the Paradise Jam. You had the Arkansas State debacle in which you were up by 1 million and then allowed for Arkansas State in your own building to come back and beat you. And so you look at that non-conference slate and then just real watered down, whatever type victories against some SWAC opponents to end the non-con season. It was just not what we certainly had anticipated. But let's talk about the positive. I go back to that North Texas loss to open up the conference season. I think we had the watch party and we were up. I remember sitting there with the guys and I was like, hey, talking about the halftime and like, is this lead safe? And unfortunately, UAB lost that. But it was the way that UAB basketball played from that point forward, absent some losses to a very good Memphis team, a team that UAB did not match up well against, as we know. UAB played very well in the conference slate, really starting out with that FAU and I think South Florida road swing. I remember they won both of those games. It really started to get some confidence. Things started falling in line with what we had hoped the team would be able to accomplish. And really going into the last week of conference play, UAB had an opportunity to get a 1 seed. So it was right there in grass. We talked about it was several different, AK interviews in which he said, I think it was within our control, whatever the way he phrased it. So, and then the conference tournament last, and then IT kind of postseason wrap up here. I thought UAB really competed well and had to go against two teams in which they had lost to, East Carolina, North Texas, and they won in those matchups. We're not going to talk about the Memphis game again.
No.
So I was happy that UAB again was able to get to a conference championship appearance. So, again, conference, if we were doing like grading, non-con will probably be like a C minus. If that. But I thought that conference play was like a B plus, like it was pretty good. I was happy with the conference tournament. And then to end this whole discussion about the broader view of the season, the wins against St. Joseph's and Santa Clara, I know it was just NIT. I get it. I feel the same way. It wasn't an NCAA tournament. I would have rather gone NCAA tournament and lost in an opening game than have played in NIT. That's just my personal thoughts on it. But having the opportunity, because we didn't really play anybody in non-conference, to go on the road and play in some historically good programs in some gyms that we didn't see very often, for Yaks to get the opportunity to play in front of his, friends and family in Philadelphia, for the team to get to go out to California and compete really hard against some two quality opponents, I thought was pretty good. We were one shot here, there, one, offensive goal interference away, or a missed free throw or two away from getting to a Final Four and a fourth matchup against a North Texas team that would have been tonight. So we were right there. So overall, I don't know if we do like a season-long grade for like this UAB basketball season. I think it was at points very discouraging because of the preseason hype, but at other points very reminiscent of what AK and staff and these teams do, which is like playing your best ball late. And they almost were able to get us right back to where we were last season in the NCAA tournament, if it wasn't just a very bad matchup against the team that we shall not name in the conference championship game.
I do want to get us to give grades, but Darian, just what are your thoughts about the season as a whole before we do grades?
Yeah, no, I think Jimmy like covered a lot of it. I would say for me, what stands out is like expectations are nice to have. Like I like to expect things. I like for people to expect things out of me. It brings a certain type of anticipation. That's gonna make you, come to the games or make it priority to view or do whatever it is that you're expecting or expecting from someone. You're gonna be tuned into. It's gonna be higher on your priority. The thing about the expectations though is that disappointment can come alongside of that as well, right? So if I could think about this season, I appreciate the high expectations that we had for this squad, because it wasn't baseless expectations neither. From what we saw last year, just the year prior, we brought back the core of Yak, CC, Vasquez, Butter, Tony. Like we had so many guys returning on this squad that played a very important role to into that San Diego State game last year in the tournament. I was like, man, this squad has a chance. And that that team, people got to remember, like last year, that team was full of yaks. Do y'all remember the pod? Go back and listen to the podcast that we had at the beginning of last year when we were talking about Yak. It was just like, man, if he just gain some confidence. Man, this guy is really coming on. We didn't know anything about Yaks. Yaks didn't know anything about UAB, but you can hear the growth on the podcast, literally about for this team and these players, and from CC to EG and all of these guys, and it was just special, right? So to see those guys grow, now we started expecting something from this team, and unfortunately, if I if I say they lived up to expectations, I would be lying. The season didn't live up to expectations, right? That's the thing about expectations. They bring disappointment once you feel let down in a sense. So that's the part that sucked about it. I do appreciate Andy Kennedy's teams always have a certain amount of resilience. They always have a certain amount of bounce back to them. I would always appreciate that. I feel like whoever we have on the squad, we can get beat by 21. We're gonna come right back against a team that probably was better than the team we got beat by 21. We probably win that game just because Andy Kennedy is wired a certain way. He is super competitive, and no matter what our ailings is on the team, he constantly looks for a way to overcome, and they never give up. I can't say I don't know what we're gonna get out of football. I don't know if we're gonna fold, but in basketball, we have never folded, no matter how disappointed we've been with a certain outcome of a game. So I really appreciate that. And then just from a on a players level, like it was good to see CC toward the end of the year. Just really, I felt like he kind of regressed in the beginning of the year, and I felt like he struggled with his confidence in his role. But just to see him at the end, especially in the NIT tournament, to see him really find his role, like just regain his confidence, that was really refreshing to see, right? We love CC here. And just to see these certain players just find themselves from AJ Vasquez to see Jabori McGee, he came on at the end of the year. Um, all of these guys are leaving now, but it's cool. I appreciate what we had. Yaks, if we I wonder how his NBA career is going. I know he entered into the draft and the transfer portal. I believe after NBA combine and all of his measurements and just seeing him against other players, I believe he can shoot up into the top 20 because he does so many things. He scores, he rebounds, he defends. He's a two-time defensive player of the year doing step back, pull up middies. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about his versatility. He's 6'9". He's like 240, 230, 240 up in there. He can do everything. And I feel like the NBA really values that. So I think he can shoot up into the top 20. I want us fans to appreciate that. Don't be sad that I tweeted this. Don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened, right? Be happy that it happened and we got to witness it. I don't know how much we'll be able to witness this going forward because of how NIL and transfer portal is. And as soon as we get somebody, I mean, let's be real about it. They're going to be out of here because of the money. It's so much money out there. Do you know the numbers they were talking about with Yaks? I wonder
Mm,
how much CC is going to be able to get. Think about it. How many times have we heard the CC Walmart story? You know,
yeah.
so if somebody's offering CC $200,000, he should go, right? Because they keep on telling us how much he worked at Walmart and this and this and this, right? This and that. Like, so I cannot blame these guys for putting themselves in a better position. We don't have that money here to pay them. That's just where that's just the nature of college basketball. You can look around the entirety of the NCAA. Everybody's going through the same thing. Unless you're like the top 20 programs or whatever, you can have your picking on what you want. We're not nowhere near the top 20 programs. We are
Mm-mm.
nowhere near their NIL money. And I don't feel right sitting here begging fans like, you need to pay more. You need to pay. We need to pay. God dang, we need to pay the light bill. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're trying. So we just need a billionaire to get on, and maybe Yax will become a superstar in the NBA, get the supermax contract, and maybe that's our out. We all faith in Yax right now, but
Yes.
again, I'm appreciative of this year and these players and what they brought to this team because honestly, I'm somewhat fearful moving forward for not just us, but just for G5 mid majors, whatever. I'm fearful for us moving forward because how we've been getting picked off left and right whenever we get anybody with an ounce of talent. And it's just where we at right now. So I'm thankful. Thank y'all for this year. Thank you, Yak, CC, AJ, Butter, Tony, all you guys. It may be the last Mohicans where we see what loyalty and love actually meant something.
Yeah, Darian, you just said that I think that we'll never see, a Yaks decide to stay another year again, especially in this NIL era. And for folks on YouTube, again, shout out to YouTube. Subscribe to the Blazer Victory podcast on YouTube, our channel at Blazer Pod. And hey, we want Yaks to go get that money. We certainly hope that it's in the NBA draft or in the NBA. Hopefully he gets drafted first round. He certainly can. Especially when Darian talked about the the combine, just showing up and them seeing their Yax's measurables, seeing Yax's stats because. We talked about it, Darian, and Jimmy, in our text thread, and Darian brought up a good point. Does the mid majors garner a lot of respect from the NBA for the professional basketball league? Not a lot. I mean, yeah. Obviously Steph Curry, Davidson. I mean, they're outliers. But getting to see Yaks in person and seeing what he's capable of doing. And guys, he's just been playing basketball for a few years. It ain't like he's been playing since he was a kid. Like to see the growth, especially to see the growth from at UAB from year 1 to year 2. Just imagine getting him in the NBA for a team. Hopefully the Hawks, but
Hey John, just based off what you was just saying, if Yaks put up the same numbers, the same versatility that he was doing if he was at North Carolina or if he was at Gonzaga,
he'd be a Cooper
he would
Flag at Duke, like
he would be the player of the year.
yeah.
He would like undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. I looked at his numbers compared. Only thing Cooper Flag got on him is like 2 points. Other than that, Yaks is like averaging almost 12 rebounds, almost 4.5 assists a game, like blocks, steals, whatever. He switches out on guards. He would be the player of the year. But
Mm-hmm.
since he plays at a mid major, he wasn't even on an honorable mention for an All American team. If anything pissed me off, that was it. I'm like, who are like 3 power forwards that's better than Yaks?
Oh.
How is he not on the All American team? He should have been first team, but he wasn't even honorable mention. That let me know right there that mid major tag is something that I really think that it just damages a player's reputation for whatever reason. I hate it.
And to anything like, of course, we wanted to make the NCAA tournament, the big tournament. Yeah, we were disappointed to play in the NIT, but we didn't turn that down, that opportunity. And Yaks on ESPNU, ESPN2 spotlighted his talent, but a guy like CC especially showcased his talent to where, hey, at the end of the year, he's entering the portal. Hopefully he gets that bag, and hopefully he gets those opportunities from what other teams and other coaches got to see on ESPN2 from a couple of these games. So that's good. And hey, we still have AK. I know it's April 1st, man, but we still have Andy Kennedy on the south side. And, I tweeted it out, let NAK we trust. But hey, shout out to Yaxel Lindeborg. I can't wait to follow your next steps in your career. Hopefully that's in the NBA, but wherever. We are all Blazer fans, extremely supportive for what you did the minute you got on campus. And the minute you stepped on inside Bartow Arena, you know, shaking hands with fans, taking pictures with fans, holding babies. Hey, we appreciate you, Yaks, and don't forget about us in the Blazer Victory podcast going forward.
Yeah, so this the thing that I'm gonna love about this group of guys. It's not just Yaks, but this whole group of guys that played for this team is how engaging they were with the fans. They actually cared. AJ is from freaking New York, right? You can tell that he really cares about UAB. Just like reminiscent of Jelly. Jelly cares. Trey Jemison cares. Like I don't know if we'll. That's the sucky part about it. Like honestly, fans gonna have to change how we view athletics. Like at mid majors, I think the best way to go forward is just like get mercenaries, like strictly transactional. We're gonna give you the opportunity to play. We know that if you level up the way you want to, you're gonna leave anyway. That's cool on us. I think we need to get away from, especially for the mid major, for in mid majors is like the connectivity that we've had with the players. I don't think that will exist. Like how many times did we see Christian Coleman and Yaks and all of these guys active on Twitter just retweeting fans, and we saw so much of this stuff just interacting, like you said, holding babies, very personal. I just don't think that we're gonna get that again. It sucks to say out loud. I'm here on this podcast because I played here and I fell in love with the people in the city. And it's such a beautiful thing. It is really, to me, that is what is valuable because it's added so much to my life. I don't think players care less about that anymore. They don't care about the city. They don't care about the fans or the parents. I write, talk to Grandpa Ken, which is Ty Longs, who was the kicker back. I I talk to him more than I talk to Ty, right? And it's crazy to just say that, but that's what's valuable to me, 35-year-old me at least. You know, these players, they all about getting that bag. They gonna get the bag. They don't care about green and gold, blue and white, yellow and pink. They don't. We saw two players in football go to Memphis. So I think we need to accept where we at. It is what it
And sit
is.
their ass on
It
the
is what it
bench
is.
too. They're getting the bag to sit on the bench. They don't even want to play the game anymore, man. But that's what's hard for us fans or whatever. Like it's just hard to these transactions each year and year out. When the portal opens, like I see everybody leave, and we're accustomed to getting new people. It's hard for fans. It's like a professional model, but like the mid majors or G5, whatever you want to call it, are treated like the G League, and then everybody else, the Power Four is the NBA or the NFL, or vice versa. The mid majors, the UFL, whatever the Stallions are called now. Like it's just getting bleak, guys. And we want to spend this in a positive manner for now. But it's just getting hard on the fans,
That's why we say thank you, Yaks, for giving
Yes,
us this. Thank
Jax.
you, CC, for giving us.
Thank you,
Thank
CC.
y'all, because
Yes,
that we got to witness it. It was us. This is year 2025. There's
yes.
Darian, there's John, there's Jimmy, and even though Jimmy had his car towed, while we got our brains beat out by Memphis, and he
Hey, we
still
ain't
have yet to
forgot
be
about that.
paid.
Hey, we might have to bring that up again.
And
Yeah.
he still
We're gonna
hasn't
have a
been.
recap episode.
So even
TBD.
but even though that happened, we still show up, and then you get a collective saying, asking us for money, and then you get the athletic department calling saying, hey, season tickets, and then you got another collective saying, hey, we need this money to put toward this team. It's kind of like, hey, man, can we get a player to stay 2 years? Like, will that even happen again if they in any sport? In any sport? No.
Hey,
Yeah.
today, email, don't miss today, April 1st,
Hey, the
UAB
deadline
football
today.
priority seat
If
deadline.
I ain't done it, don't email me again. Do not email me. You emailed me, and I'm not because Jimmy used to live, work in that space. Hey, these folks are just doing their job, but don't email me if I've contacted my rep personally. No, quit
Hey,
asking.
in this email, we'll just do, we're switching to football real quick. Have
Yeah,
y'all
we gonna
signed
get
up?
to spring practice sooner or later.
Have y'all
I know
signed
a
up?
lot of people. Yeah, we gonna get to spring ball. I know it's been going on for 2 weeks now, or however long. We gonna get to it eventually.
Have y'all signed up for the UAB Football Excellence Golf Tournament on Monday, May 12th? Also, the new defensive staff brings over 40 years of NFL experience.
Oh, I seen them graphics. Like,
I
Coached
mean,
and or been around.
hey, what was the tweet? Was it graphic? Was it a year ago or 2 years ago? Like somebody or all the staff has been associated with the Super Bowl or y'all remember that?
Yeah, coached
yeah,
and or been around,
that was a stretch. That was a stretch.
Hey, we're
You
gonna
know,
do some football. We're gonna do some football content. We talked about it pre-show, so we're gonna talk a little spring ball. We got a spring showcase coming up into the month that we'll be talking about. So we're for those of us that have some people, we're gonna make some phone calls, see how things are going. So it's gonna be
Check
we're gonna be
up.
dropping some stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it's like one thing I do appreciate about football is they did get a lot of older guys. They did go down and get productive guys that transferred over. Guys they're gonna have chips on their shoulder and they're gonna be hungry. They are looking for more of an opportunity than
Hmm.
anything, right? Once you get these young developmental guys, we saw it with Cam Shakes and all those type of guys. Love them to death, love them. But it is what it is. Guys said, thank y'all for the development. See you, and that's just what it is. Like, yeah, y'all gave me an opportunity. One thing I do look at a lot of these graphics when these guys transfer, and they may be totally chat GPT, but
One
one
of the
thing they
players
always
definitely was
one thing they
ChatGPT.
always say is one thing they always say is thank you for the opportunity. I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to be thanked for the opportunity no more. I really don't. I don't want to be thanked for the opportunity no more because yeah, that means I mean, you're still leaving. You're still taking whatever opportunity you got. You did your thing with it. Nobody is upset with you. That's the game. That's the name of the game. Go get your bag. Okay, cool. I don't I need some I need something. I need a return on investment for at least an extra year because we gave you the opportunity and did you develop so like say like CC put that in his, but get it from CC. CC gave us 2 good years, bro. That's all I ask. 2 years. 2 years. I ain't anybody that's transfer after a year of productivity and say thank you for the opportunity. Mm.
That's where
Uh,
That's where it's like, I mean, I'm certainly more open at this point. I donate to the Southside Solution. Shout out to that group, and for anyone that's frustrated with this, like we are as well. I mean, ultimately, you've got a decision to make. I mean, you can sit back and say X, Y, and Z, and you have perfect right to do so. We do the same thing. We express our opinions, or you can try to contribute to whatever opportunity we have. And at the end of the day, yeah, it might be little or whatever, but here's where we are. And Coach AK's come on our podcast before and talked about Southside Solutions. So I'm keeping it going. It's just a part of the rotation month to month. It's little, but for those of you that are sitting back and you're like, hey, I don't like to see these players leave. Well, you can, even if it's 1% of movement in the right direction, like jump on board, on Southside Solutions. So, shout out to them to continue to give, coaching staff resources they need to have a competitive roster to keep us going. But, I was going to say, what's hard is like, I'm more open to this now than I was prior prior, I would think to myself, okay, well, I'd rather buy like a shirt or like a hoodie or like the guys, you know how they'll have their own brands come out and whatnot. But now I don't want to do that, because like it's like I don't want to buy a hoodie, with this brand of a player that's going to
Oh,
be here for 3 months. It's like, no, I'd
It's
rather
like
just pay.
sayonara.
Yeah, like I'd rather just pay, like I love Darian's because he's 100% right. It is just what it is. Like, let's accept what it is. Here's the current state that we're in. We all want UAB to be successful. We all play a little bit of a role in that. And at the end of the day, here's your opportunity right here. It could be $1 or $9.99 or whatever. I think you do a one-time gift or they have tiers, right?
Yes.
So I'm not going to drop 209. I'm not going to get the invite to the special events that they have. I'm not at that tier. I'm at the beginning tier. But it's something. So
yeah, same here. Every little bit counts. And hey, what Jimmy and Darian just said, hey, if you make that decision, like, well, I'm not going to get season tickets because I want to donate to NIL or vice versa or wherever you can make that.
the GoFundMe is for the players.
Oh man, they're gonna start OnlyFans.
Where do I go to contribute directly to the gold helmets? Is there a fund that will go directly to that for football?
Hey man, well,
I need to write a check.
specifically in the memo, gold helmet.
Players are gonna start OnlyFans.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, man.
Hey bro,
Hey, I would start an OnlyFans if I could bring in millions of dollars for UAB athletics. I'm not afraid. Whatever.
Yeah, I'll shoot.
Somebody wants to pay me something, like I need to get some players.
I'll show a foot.
Yeah, wiggle your toes a little bit, Hey, but if you're gonna, if you was gonna send that girl lunch, some lunch money like $25 or something like that, send her $23. Put $2 to the Southside Solution. Like, we got to get creative. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna find out ways to get creative on a podcast. We're gonna adjust with the times here. We can sit here and at the Blazer Victory podcast, y'all, right? We can sit here and we can be like, this is horrible and it sucks and I don't want to do this no more. We could do that, or we could say, you know what? How do we thrive in this space? Somebody's gonna unlock it somehow, and I do think some kind of regulation it has to come in some form, some way within the next 2 to 3 years. I believe some form of regulation. Like, we were talking about it off the pod. It was like, if it was these players that like a Cam, I keep on because Cam is the only one that's coming in my head. If Arkansas was like, hey, yeah, we're gonna get this guy, we want him. How bad you want him? We need a buyout. Since y'all got so much money, the SEC is making so much, all these millions of dollars. We barely can get $500,000, right? We need a buyout. Y'all need to make it worthwhile. If we're gonna develop talent for you, pay us. If you're gonna pay him 100,000, you should give us 100,000. Will, because that'll help us so much. That's just they just throw that money away. They use that. They use way more than that on a coach buyout, right? Like they buy out a coach and pay a coach 3 million, 4 million a year to just go away and then pay somebody else millions of dollars. Like, give us come on, man. We need something.
It would still stink, but that's what we're talking about pre-show. To Darren's point is that, what if UAB traded Cam Shanks and got like a veteran player back that had 1 year remaining, a wide receiver that, was a good practice player, was in the rotation, but could have a larger role here. And they send us back 25 grand and they just said, hey, it's something. It's like in the movie Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell. I think they made a trade and they got some veteran back in a washing machine. Like, give us some equipment. Hey, we need gold helmets. We need money to buy gold helmets. Like, send us back, some gold uniforms, or give us something. Like, if I would feel so much better. You would still hate to lose the trade because you're like, hey, the best player got given up, but we're not just left, with nothing. So at some point, if we could get to that point in which the players are under contracts like coaches and you could negotiate trades, then you could get something back to work with. Flip a player, bring him back, flip him for something else, whatever. Like it would make a lot more sense. So maybe we do get there in a couple of years or a few
So,
years.
like in the NBA, and the team in markets with the LA Lakers and the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. Do y'all know who the best team in the NBA is right now?
So, OKC.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City Thunder. Because in professional sports, there's things that you can do to like mitigate being the small, being the little guy. They took that tanking route. They made smart trades, right? They have good contracts. You're able to get draft picks and all of this type of stuff, and you can build parity. They can it's ways to achieve the parity. We'll never get all the way to that point in college athletics. Point being, there are regulations that we can set up to help the little guy out, not to just not to have us. It's not we're not even JUCOs, bro, because most of the time, like in JUCOs, you stay for 2 years, and then even though they did start doing the 1 year thing, it's like we're just 1 year talent development, one-stop shops. And then what are we now, right? There needs to be some kind of regulations to where we can have a shot to at least give us the opportunity to be strategic. Like, okay, if we make this move here, we tweak that, we put money here. Give us an opportunity to have that one special year out of 4 years, right? It's kind of like Ole Miss in the SEC. Like 1 out of 4 years, Ole Miss, I feel like is really special, and they have a real shot. We want that same opportunity, period. Just that, that's all. So I think you have to build some kind of regulations to where we can build something up, and then I think there's ways to achieve it. Do you guys have faith that the NCAA, let's say over the next 2 years, can kind of rein in the Wild Wild West?
Nope. Nope.
There has to be something coming down the pipe, man.
I don't know. I hope so, but probably not.
Jimmy, any hope?
Well, first of all, no. But even if I did have hope, I just think that like I just don't think that they care about UAB. Like that's like the thing. Like a lot of people talk about, like we care immensely about UAB. I just think a lot of other people just like don't care in the grand scheme of things.
Is it the fans' fault then? Is this
the fans are getting the short end of the stick? The fans are getting the absolute we are getting the worst.
I'm talking about the bigger portion of the not UAB, not looking at us, not looking at UAB just as a collective. Alabama,
Fans in general.
Ohio State, just fans, casual fans that tune in and watch. Do the numbers reflect that we ain't who we think we are? Not just UAB, but UTSA, North Texas, FAU, like all the Arkansas State, Georgia States. Like we need to get out the way, I guess. Like, is that the consensus of what everybody want nowadays? And is that just what it is? Is that the majority consensus?
Yeah. I think, like, if you ask an Alabama fan, like, who donated $500,000 last year to the football collective, whatever that is. I mean, did they get a return on investment? No. I mean, they got the ass whooped in what was it, the Outback Bowl, whatever it is. I guess the exception would be Ohio State, I guess, because they won it last year, right? But
yeah,
are they going to keep that up like $200 million every year? Like, okay, cool, you won a national championship, but
where you get that number from?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out. I'm just throwing it out.
God dang.
I mean, it was a good bid. So
they stole Alabama's star safety.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody was talking about uniforms, and here's my bright idea. Why don't the players just play in scrubs? And it'd be sponsored by UAB Hospital School of Medicine. Can you imagine?
If they win, do it.
Hey, can you imagine a basketball jersey but in scrubs like version, or like pads underneath scrubs?
Balling.
Hey. Somebody needs to make that.
I like what you put in the group with Coastal Carolina. At least Coastal Carolina is trying.
Hey, how much would it cost? Yeah, how much would it cost? I almost wanted to tweet this out, but it was like 4 free items from the concession stand. I wanted to like look at the Protective Stadium like pricing and be like, oh, a hot dog, a Coke, and a nacho and a burger or whatever. You
$50.
know, it was going to be free at Coastal Carolina. It's going to be $113 at Protective Stadium.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess we can keep going. Like this is amazing off-season content. The thing I like about this is I love when we start rambling. The thing
Mhm.
about this is I think we got plenty more of this left in the tank. We can talk about. We
Mhm.
got a whole bunch of bullets. We need to wrap. We've been on here just talking, shooting it.
Hey, real quick, overall grades for the 2024-2025 UAB basketball season. You want me to start?
See,
See, I was gonna say like C plus or B minus. I'm probably gonna say C plus, just because the high expectations that we had and the media had, to just go to the quarters of NIT and not even make the tournament. And I get it. Hey, we did good in the NIT, but expectations were, shoot, Sweet 16. I mean, just win a game in the NCAA tournament and to not reach the tournament sucks.
we thought it had that potential. Well, I just talked about that special year. We
Hmm.
thought this year had the potential to be that special year for UAB, and it didn't come close.
UAB and those opportunities. Jimmy.
C. I'll say C for CC. We miss you, buddy.
There you go. Yeah, we're gonna miss CC.
Yeah. Appreciate you,
Uh,
AK, coming back once again. Appreciate you.
hey,
Stop
hey.
flirting with these teams out here, man. Stop doing that to Nah, you do what you got to do to get your bag and do whatever you. We ain't mad at you. We love you here. Appreciate you, all of the players. Like we thank y'all again.
And it's just trying to get some support. Hey,
Hey, y'all that have listened to us ramble for however long it's been, 40 minutes. Again, we're going to start diving into basketball recruiting. So, starting to make some lists, starting to look at some stuff. You know, hopefully, we'll hear about some visits. But if you are interested in the basketball recruiting content, we'll certainly talk high level here on some future free shows. But we will be probably diving into the Patreon next week. And again, we're going to definitely pick up on some football discussion here soon as well, talking spring ball. But we appreciate all of y'all listeners not entering the transfer portal and sticking, being loyal with us.
No,
And
do we have options? Like I don't know. We ain't getting the bag tossed at us. I
hey,
don't
I
know.
was in Tuscaloosa last Friday. Hey, man, it's pretty sweet.
I ain't even mad at John for testing out the waters. You know what I'm saying? Not
Oh,
mad. But I did. We do want to know for the Patreon. Like, what do y'all want to hear? Our Patreon listeners, like, what do y'all want to hear us talk about? We have some ideas. I threw out an idea to y'all. Let me know about this idea, say for comparison's sake. For other schools and what their NIL is, and what their transfer portal additions and losses are compared to UAB's. We can go around the AAC. We can go around the Big 12 or whatever new conference that's out there. I don't know if the pack, whatever about whatever all the conference, whatever teams in comparison to UAB. Um,
don't say
this
it.
guy put stuff in the chat, yeah. But yeah, like so, y'all let me know if y'all want to hear about other schools and what they have going on, just so we can be informed. I think the best thing we do here is we inform at a high rate, and I want us to know what's going on out there compared to what's going on here, so we won't just be so caught up in the green and gold emotion. So y'all let us know, and I think we have some good stuff coming for y'all.
Love it, Darian. I love that idea. And I'll make a post on the Patreon. Again, patreon.com/blazerpod. I'll make a post and just say like off season ideas, question mark, and just let us know in the comments what do y'all want to hear us do on the off season. So, well, all right. That was a good episode, guys.
Jimmy did want y'all to know that Malik Ewing is not coming to UAB.
Hey, y'all stop that on. Hey,
I see. I'm already seeing some stuff here on X. It's
Yaks,
recruiting season,
Yaks
so
is
we're monitoring it.
Yaks is
If a
not coming
dude,
back.
it's going to be both. It's both ways here. If UAB has a double-digit score on the basketball team and they have eligibility remaining, they gone. And if someone is averaging double digits in a power P4 league, they ain't coming. You know, that's at the point that we're at right now. So we need to be strategic. Darian mentioned it earlier. I like basketball recruiting. I like some of the guys that we're looking at. You got some relationships here and there from prior recruiting, but he ain't coming. I mean, unless we
Get
have
that out the
just
way, man.
yeah. That guy's going to garner 2 million plus. You know, he's going to be battling out with yaks on these visits with Mark Pope at Kentucky. I mean, he's going to be top of the market. So
We already got to figure out what we got to do to keep John here. You know, from going. You know, like how we can't afford Malik Ewing. We got to keep John here at the Blazer Victory Podcast. We hurting. We trying, man. We are just trying.
Hey, that credential is dangling in Tuscaloosa. All right. On that note, thanks for all the support. We love y'all. Go Blazers. Ever faithful, ever loyal, and we'll see you next time on the Blazer Victory Podcast. Deuces.